to get started? Hey? So I apologize for running a few minutes late. We're making sure our technological components of this work because we're live streaming this on Facebook Live. So thank you very much for that. Welcome to the Florida Trust. I'm Melissa Wiley. I'm the Executive Director, and you guys are at our second Lunch and Learn for the summer. And if you're interested in the rest of the Lunch and Learns, we have some information on the table on the way out and also online. And there's also a sign-in sheet here, if you don't mind, before you leave, just sign in so we can know you're here. We would appreciate it. Without further ado, we're going to introduce our speaker for today, Dr. Stephen Karacic. That's what I was going to say, but I should have talked to you about that before. Dr. Stephen Karacic is an archaeologist for PaleoWest Archaeology, whose areas of research span over 7,000 years of human history and 4 continents. He is fascinated by how objects framed the daily interactions of past peoples. Dr. Karacic uses scientific techniques to think about how these objects were made and used with the intention of better understanding the past. His recent work in Florida has focused on dugout canoes in Florida and the possibility that these canoes may have been painted even though the paint is not invisible. Thank you.
Thanks for that introduction, and very nice to see such a good turnout on a lunchtime lecture like this one. And I just want to start off by saying that I'm really excited to be here, and thank you for inviting me. And today we're going to talk a bit about the dugout canoe, but I'd like to think of the dugout canoe more as a kind of a lens of sorts, a way to access what the past life would have been like in Florida several thousand years ago, all the way really up to the 20th century. So we'll kind of be weaving in and out of pre-contact Florida with a little bit of more recent history in Florida as we kind of think about this really important piece of material culture that has shaped a lot of the ways that people have lived and moved through Florida. So while we'll be talking about canoes themselves, kind of the big picture is more how people use the canoes, what these canoes may have meant to people living here 7,000 years ago or as recently as 50 years ago. So without further ado, I'd like to begin my talk. More technical issues, 1 second. I'd like to begin my talk by acknowledging all the people that made the research possible. I think archaeology is inherently collaborative, and oftentimes the acknowledgments are kind of buried at the end of the talk. But I wanted to start off by thanking the people at the Florida Bureau of Archaeological Research and the Southeast Archaeological Center that supported this research and made it possible, in particular Dr. Mary Glowacki and Mike Russo, and then also Julie Duggins, who, when we were working together over at the Bureau of Archaeological Research, introduced me to this really fascinating topic of canoes in Florida. And then, of course, there's hundreds of people throughout the state of Florida that have spent a lot of time and effort trying to conserve the hundreds of dugout canoes that have been found across the state, and they all deserve a lot of thanks, not just from me, but from all of the people in Florida that can now share in these artifacts when they visit museums and things like this. So what do we mean by a dugout canoe? Well, we've got a picture of one here on the right. The dugout canoe is made from a single tree. This is what makes it a dugout canoe. It is actually quite literally dug out, so the name is maybe not so creative. And what happens is you'll have a large log that will be dug out in various ways that we'll talk about in a little bit, and that's how you end up with your dugout canoe. So far, this